Foreign ministers of Germany, France, and Russia and Ukraine say the terms of the Ukrainian ceasefire must be observed starting immediately. And they're calling for more support for international monitors. But they have few answers as to how to make it all happen. CCTV's Kate Parkinson has more on the results of a four-way meeting in Paris.
Another diplomatic push for peace in Ukraine. It is less than 2 weeks since the leaders of Ukraine, Russia, Germany and France hammered out a ceasefire agreement in Minsk, and already their top diplomats are scrambling to save the deal. After 3 hours of talks, the French foreign minister said they all agreed that a total ceasefire must be enforced in eastern Ukraine.
The four ministers call for the strict implementation of all provisions of the Minsk agreements, starting from a comprehensive ceasefire and withdrawal of heavy weapons. We call upon the earliest possible conclusion of the plans for withdrawal of heavy weapons and their full implementation.
Continuing clashes have delayed the pullback of heavy weapons, due to start a week ago under the peace plan. The rebels have claimed several times that they have started to withdraw arms, but this has not been confirmed by monitors from the European security watchdog. And Kiev is refusing to withdraw its big guns from the front line until the shooting stops.
While attacks on positions of Ukrainian servicemen and shelling of peaceful areas and residential areas continue, there can be no withdrawal of heavy weaponry.
The Paris talks also focused on the town of Debaltseve, seized by pro-Russian rebels last week in defiance of the ceasefire. Kiev has accused Moscow and pro-Russian rebels on the ground of torpedoing the truce. Ukraine's loss of Debaltseve remained a source of tension in the French capital.
Unfortunately, there was no political agreement on how to condemn what happened in Debaltseve, all tragic events and all infringements for ceasefire.
After another day of diplomacy, the peace deal remains fragile and the tensions between Moscow and Kiev remain high. There was no joint press conference at the end of the meeting here in Paris, perhaps a sign of how difficult the talks were. And despite the fact that all four ministers threw their support behind the Minsk peace deal and called for a total ceasefire and the withdrawal of heavy weapons, there seems to have been very little progress made here in the French capital on how to implement that. Kate Parkinson, CCTV, Paris.